Hopefully that's working. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Fuck Windows. Fuck Microsoft. Of course, I get a update and a restart in my computer, and everything is fucking messed up again. I have spent, 15 minutes now? At least 15 minutes, if not much more, trying to sort this out before getting the stream going. Welcome in, everyone. Hopefully you're having a much better day than I am right now. My day's been pretty good, other than it seemed to disappear pretty quickly today. We didn't really have much going on today. So I feel like I just woke up and it's already time to stream, which is usually in the later part of the day for me. But welcome in. Hopefully everyone's having a stupendous Pi Day. I am not going to be celebrating Pi Day, or March 14th, or 3.14 Pi. Instead going to be celebrating National Potato Chip Day. So, going to do my own homemade potato chips tonight. And we're going to start off by making our potato chips. I've got potatoes here just so handily. These are Idaho russets, or as I like to think of them, Burbank russets. Because I live in Sonoma County, which is Luther Burbank's chosen home. After, I believe, being born in Ohio, somewhere in the Midwest, he developed the russet potato, or the seed for the russet potato, or he developed how to raise russet potatoes. Hey, Miss Lisa Face, welcome in. And so he is the reason that we have these lovely potatoes. He's also the reason that we have many other lovely foods, fruits, and vegetables. He's got a long history. If you search him, I've worked and volunteering at his 2 farm locations here in Sonoma County, both in Sebastopol and in Santa Rosa. And Santa Rosa is the main one. And he's got all sorts of stuff that he developed during his time. He was around with Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and that group, and he used to actually go out traveling with them when they were developing. Edison and Ford sort of got into this like partnership of where they were going out camping. And they were going out camping because they wanted to sell cars and they wanted to sell electricity. And so he was sort of a part of that and joined them for some of those parties and that sort of stuff. He was just really a gardener. I mean, he spent all of his life sitting there in the glass gardening house that he had. And he really sort of developed the techniques and methodology behind breeding plants before we knew how to properly breed plants. And this is all obviously before we got into genetics at all. Unfortunately, he had a whole bunch of secret projects. He had stuff. He made a name for himself, and so people were already out to steal his stuff before he passed away. But he had all of these odd little projects. So there's little hidden projects all over Sonoma County of like trees that he got. Buddy, hey, why don't you try planting this and see how it turns out? And he never really passed all of that on, but all of his stuff that was concentrated in his business, that got snapped up right away by seed companies and got all stolen from him. But he's done quite a bit in the way of the world of food. But most notably, russet potato, Santa Rosa plum, white raspberry, even though it's not cultivable. They haven't figured out how to cultivate that. Kiwis, all sorts of stuff that he grew. All sorts of roses. He's famous for the Shasta daisy. He created what you guys think of when you think of the word daisy. That white petal with that golden center. That was created. He developed that. He actually tried to create that. He worked after doing that. We got a battle ready already because I took so long getting my computer to start up here. So let's run a 90-second pre-roll. And so, doing a little honoring of Burbank today with our potatoes. I'm going to do just straight, plain, simple salt and pepper potato chips. But I'm going to take my time and do them what I think is the right way. Some people say food experiment. Others may disagree with that way of doing this. But it's my way of doing it. We're going to start off with the one thing that some of them may have issue with. So we're going to soak them in water. So we'll get some water going in a bowl here while we wait for our ad viewers to return. We can run our battle. Also got a beautiful skirt steak that I haven't even looked at. Could be ugly. I don't know. Is skirt steak ever ugly? And we got more asparagus left over from Friday's dinner. So that's going to be our main part of our dinner. But the main show of tonight is making potato chips from scratch. Because we're going to soak them in water, let them sit in water for a minute. And then we're going to dehydrate them. I have a dehydrator. So we're going to properly dry them. Or I have a dryer, a dehydrator. I'm going to dry them out. And then we'll fry them. So hopefully that'll speed our process up here a little bit. Not too much, though. Alright, let's run our battle. Doesn't say where it's playing out. I'm not getting audio from the game, that's why I went into the settings there, sorry. I went through and changed all my skins too, so I'm using the retro tank now, and I've got skins for everything now. Head Mama Bear sweeping up the field there for me. Thank you for your assistance, Head Mama Bear. Let's see if we can't get you some gold. Well, at least got you a scroll. But hey, it looked like I had a quest done there. Let's see what we got for quests done here. Yeah, I've already earned a... What? I gotta earn 1,000 gold. I've already earned 1,000 gold. I spent most of it already. Anyways, on to the next map. And go with the tank. Put him in the corner here. See how we do here in 30 minutes. So, first up, we're going to have to slice some potatoes. I'm really wishing that I had my mandolin from my trailer here. Which I don't. So we're using this one. Let's see, what do we got this set to? Let's see how thick this is slicing just as is here. I'm not really happy with the tip of this one, so I'm not worried about it. Well, look at our thickness here. Yeah, it is a bit on the thick side. See if we can't go slightly thinner than that. This thing doesn't have a ton of adjustment to it, though, unfortunately. But we'll go up 2 notches further and see what that gets us. That's a little closer. That's a little closer because we need them to... Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go with those. Leave those in there. been watching Formula One all weekend here, and it's been rather interesting and fun to watch, but rather uneventful too. I mean, they haven't, for being a practice session, they haven't been doing a whole lot of practice. Why you no slice? Leave that last a little bit there. We got plenty of more chips to make here. Yeah. Gonna have to fry this in a couple of batches here. I don't have a ton. Well, I guess it's more for me having the giant pot out here than anything else, but don't have a ton of depth there for frying. But we do have quite a bit of girth there to allow everything to have a little space to spread out, which is good too. Fortunately, this blade isn't very sharp. That's another problem with this. If you notice, it's sort of tearing the back end on these slices. Like, all of them got a rough side to them, whereas the rest of it's a nice clean edge, and it's tearing on the back end of it. There's more relying on it being a thin piece of metal than it actually being a sharpened piece of metal. Should actually see if I could sharpen this better. Just created a project, I think, to get this out. There we go. Yeah, there's not much there to... I guess it is a sharpened blade, though. Interesting. It's almost like it's a concave cut, too. It's almost like it bottoms out before it gets to the edge. That's not very good. But let's at least see if I can't steal it a little bit along that edge. That probably did absolutely nothing for me, but oh wells. Music too loud, too quiet? I was watching the VOD last night of what I did on Friday, and was like, wow, that music's loud. And I don't really have a whole lot of... I mean, I can hear it in my ear. Can't hear myself tonight, which is sort of annoying. But that's going along with me just... we need to get the show on the road rather than sit here and fuss all night trying to get the audio perfect. That did seem to cut a little bit better after I got it down there, but nah, still not great. That's a little bit better. Well, let's do all three potatoes. Stitch a couple of the top pieces on this, though. Nice, Miss Lisa Face. Sorry, and if you're still hanging out here, I don't know if you're still hanging out or not. But yeah, I just worked on, I've been working all day on my website, actually. So there's now a whole bunch of photos on my website, which is chefjt.com. There's still more work to be done on the website there, but I got to redo the images again. I got to clean up what images I have on there. Most of them are really old. But that's getting better. That's getting close. I think that's where most of my day disappeared. I woke up late, like 11:30ish, which is late. I mean, it would have been like 10:30 yesterday, but get an extra hour. Watched a couple of shows on Twitch, and because I'm no offense to the streamers that stream on Sunday mornings, but there are too many food streamers on Sunday mornings. It's like prime time for certain percentage of streamers to be streaming. Okay, so we got our potato chips. I'm going to rinse these a couple of times with water until we start getting clear water coming out. Just to remove a lot of the starch on the outside of the chip. And then we're going to soak them with some salt in the water and let them sit for a good 30, 40, maybe even an hour while we work on a couple other things. We'll then drain them, give them a quick dry with some paper towel, or I'll use one of these and save the earth a little bit. We'll dry them off a little bit, pat dry, and then put them in my dehydrator for probably another 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll fry them. See, that's just removing the water once, and how much clearer they are in there from that first time. Well, let's give them a stir and get the water cloudy again. Hey, Glass. Welcome in. Oh, I was watching, I think it was 4 different people this morning, because I've got more than one person that hangs out here in the chat that streams on Sunday morning, and I got a couple others that I watch. So it becomes a little... I tend to watch a couple of streams at once anyways, but it's definitely a bouncing between streams thing here on Sundays. There, you can see it got a little bit cloudier again. We'll give that another rinse. How you been, Glass? It's been a minute since I got to see your stream. What have you been up to lately? Still decorating guitars, or we doing other abstract art these days, or... A little frustration getting the stream starting this morning, or this evening. So I'm a little frustrated with that, but otherwise, it's sort of like I feel like I just woke up. I slept in, and then you add the fact that it's daylight savings. Day doesn't last very long. Okay, we got this mixed up in there. It's still going to lose a little bit more starch. That's sort of what we're doing anyways. Seems mostly these piles that I haven't gotten properly separated here are still holding on what starch we got left in there. Actually, this is getting cloudy enough again that I want to change it again, but let's see if we can't get all of these nicely loosened up and separated. Need to lift and separate all of our potato chips. Hey, Huberman! Happy Mother's Day! I did not know that it was Mother's Day in the UK. It's also Pie Day. It's also National Potato Chip Day in the US. Welcome, welcome. Actually, that's still clear enough. I think we'll live with that. And salt, salt, salt. Oh, we can use some of this. It's not what we wanted to happen, though. Just dropped a glass bottle on the floor. Thankfully, I have a nice little rug here that prevented that from going crack. Okay. Lots of salt in there. Lots of salt in there. Lots and lots of salt in there. We'll give this another stir up now that we got all that fine sea salt in there. I'm using up the fine sea salt because you don't really need fine sea salt. I'd much rather just cheap fine salt. I got the expensive fine sea salt because I thought I was buying kosher. We're also pretty close to, what is it, St. Patty's Day? Is that today? Is that this week? When is St. Patty's Day? Just short crust. No puff pastry for you. You don't like the butter? How can you not like butter? Alright, we'll set this on the stove to hang out for a little bit. Start a 30-minute timer with that. We'll wait on those for 30 minutes at least. I'm going to take this off of the stove. It's slightly warm because I warmed it up to make sure all the fat was melted. Let's give this a proper rinse off. I gave this a light rinse off before, I think. Make sure we got this scrubbed. You don't like the texture. Irritates your throat. That's weird. How can it irritate your throat? Unless they're using something cheap and nasty to replicate the butter. I mean, there technically shouldn't be really any major difference between the two as far as ingredients. They're essentially the same thing. You just have more butter in puff pastry and less water and a lot more manual labor in order to fold it and get those folds in there and worrying about the temperature of it and stuff. I'm strange too. I don't like soft serve ice cream. I like soft ice cream. I don't like soft serve ice cream. Other than maybe Dairy Queen. Because they don't serve real ice cream. Set this over here to dry off. Out of the picture. Alright, so we got our potato chips soaking. Let's make our bechamel. We can do that up ahead of time here. Get a little milk. I was going to do a hollandaise, and I actually posted hollandaise on the Discord and then edited it out because, I don't have eggs, and I didn't feel like going out and buying eggs just to make sauce. So we're doing hollandaise or bechamel instead. I'll get a little heat going here. About a tablespoon and a half of butter. Flour. Just refilled my flour bin. Start stream trying to clear out area to my. Got my dehydrator tucked in the far corner over here. I sort of gotta move things around to get to it. Butter. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. Hopefully everyone can hear me clearly. As I was saying before, I cannot hear myself in my earbud today because Windows, Microsoft, ARC. Let's figure out what's set up wrong here. It's almost acting like I don't use my normal speakers when I'm... Welcome in, Chicken Barf. Glad to have you. Thank you for that info on the sound, but it seems to me like it uninstalled my main speakers, although I don't use them when I'm streaming, and I think that confused everything else in my computer. Alright, add a bit of flour in with our butter that's actually getting a bit too warm there. Give that a whisk up. Give that some whiskey business. And we'll switch to adding some milk in here. Actually, we'll add a little water first, just to be safe. Just so we don't instantly curdle all that milk. Hey, Overman, give me a moment. I can't see what you're saying about your... While keeping this going, I'll respond in a moment. Instant thickened. Oh, hey. Looking pretty good for just water, huh? And we'll add a whole bunch of whole milk. And whisk all of that in. Nice, Huberman. That's awesome. Carne asada thing with the flank steak. Not sure what you're meaning by that. Carne asada is, to me, it just means essentially steak. You're probably meaning marinating it somehow, which I might throw a marinade on it quickly, but I'm going to do... I have a stovetop cast iron like grill, and so I'm going to sear it off using that. Glad to have you in, Huberman. How you doing tonight? Let's put our flour away so we don't get anything else in that. Not familiar with the Samsung FE, but then again, there's a whole bunch of... First off, I'm not hugely familiar with Samsung's individual products in the last couple of years. I haven't been watching phones that much lately, but I know European and Australians usually get different editions of their phones too because they're on different wireless networks. Nice. Glad to see you happy. Glad to see you happy. It's an alternative to the Samsung S20 with 5. Cool. Nice. If you're paying more, I don't know what it is locally around you, but my understanding is most of the 5G stuff isn't fully baked yet, and so they're like pre-selling you stuff saying that it's capable of 5G, but it's more like it'll work on 5G, but it's really current tech. I don't know. I would hope you're not paying a whole bunch extra for that 5G, especially when it's something that you might upgrade or trade or use and sell off before you use the full life of the phone. I let the butter get a little too warm with this, and so we got a little coloration going from that butter getting too warm, but nah, it's complete hogwash. It's people that don't know what they're talking about complaining about the world. The reality of 5G, from what I've read, is that while it is a higher power technology, it's also a directed technology, and so it's pointed at what it's directed. It's not like 3G or 4G where they're just sending out a bandwidth signal. And so, I mean, there's already waves around you all over the place. It's not changing anything. Turn that down slightly in temp. Making sure we're not sticking on the bottom at all. This little whisk is nice for getting that roux started, but it's pretty horrid once you get some actual serious stuff in that. Popped. up a size here. It's like I live in a Sonoma County's got a bunch of hippies in the area. I mean, Sonoma, it's Northern California, it's hippie world, and we have a forum here for West County of Sonoma that there's all sorts of wackos on it, and they complain about stuff like that. And there's a big old radio tower near a hospital, and they constantly complain about that radio tower there. But it's really they're only complaining about it because it's an eyesore. There's like 3 or 4 of them within eyesight that are well hidden that they don't complain about, and it's sort of like, what? Wear tinfoil over your head. Live in a wire mesh house. You can stop radio waves, but there's no real. It's well below anything that's doing any damage to anything. If you increase that frequency, like I was saying, 5G is a bit higher in it's powerful. How powerful it is, but it's still not. I'll do our 90-second pre-roll ad. Before we do our Stream Raiders. I'm going to use up this tonight. I've got a little rind here. We're going to use this for our Parmesan sauce. Yeah, I don't think that the 5G jump... I mean, maybe it might be worth it when the phone is 2-3 years old and it's nearing the end of its life and everything else is 5G. But for the first couple of years of its life, it's going to be money that you're spending on your phone when you're getting tired of it. Interesting. After you convert these, they actually shoot at the other one. Nice. Easy win there. Edgy Hercules giving us all the help. Getting all the gold. Ooh, I get some gold too, though. I did spend a bunch of gold last night, too. I upgraded a bunch of stuff. Actually, I got some more upgrades, apparently. Upgrade my flag bearer now. Take a look at that store, see what we got, and see if we got any new scrolls that I can grab here. Breacher tank, yes. Rogue, yes. We'll leave that till later. We want to go top. We want to go top. Are all these... Yeah, these are all mobs. They're all armored. So we're going to want... Sort of tempted to do Berserker. Rogue's going to go for that chest in the center. So why don't I put my tank right there. Oops. Tank right there. And let everyone else figure the rest out. Go back to the stove here. Finish our Parmesan. So, right now we have a basic bechamel. Just a milk bechamel thickened with a roux. We gotta cook this another 10 minutes or so until we get all that flour flavor out of it. But we're gonna add a bunch of cheese in there. And there's still a little bit of cheese here to grind off. I'm gonna try and grind off as much of that as possible. But I'm just gonna throw the whole thing in there after I'm done grinding as much cheese off of it as I can. Because the whole thing is gonna give us flavor. See, now we're getting down there. Lots of cheese still. That's just going in like that. Mixing the rest of this best as we can. Okay, so allow that to simmer for a little while here. I think you're wasting your money, Huberman, but do as you wish. The idea that something is going to block waves is sort of silliness to me, though, too. I'd want to read up on the whatever science they have for that, for how they block waves other than you sitting in a metal cage. You stand in the middle of a metal cage, and the metal cage sort of acts like a ground. And so any of those waves come and hit the metal, and they disappear. But, well, it's an expensive waste of money then. Got a little bit of a skin going with this. Just thick enough for where we want it. That's actually pretty awesome for a sauce there. I was worried I was going to have to do a ton of it in order to get enough to do this. Let's see, how we doing on our chips here? Yeah, these are nice. They've actually gotten softer through this process. They actually feel smoother, softer. They feel thinner. Take a towel here. We got another 6-7 minutes on this. We're going to hang out with those. What do we got that we can work on in the meantime? Let's do a marinade for our steak. Let's see how our steak looks that I haven't pulled out yet. Nice. I think we're going to chop this into 3 here. Now, the trick to skirt steak is entirely not how you cook it, not how you marinate it, it's how you cut it. If you look at this, this was one solid piece. It's been cut here, it went even longer. And that goes down the entire length of, from top to bottom of your cow on either side. So there's 2 of them on a cow. And this is essentially like the cow's diaphragm. It's what it's using to breathe in and out. It's what pushing, keeping your guts in and out. Its guts in and out. And its vein, or the structure of the meat is all this way. You notice the grain on it, it's all going in this direction, back and forth. And so when you cook this, you then want to cut it this way, against that grain. And that's the only way you're going to make this cut of meat tender. Not sure what I want to do my marinade in. Let's do in a bag. Well, we'll do a little soy sauce, a little Worcestershire, a little garlic powder. Keep it pretty simple. That was maybe a ballpark of a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I know I poured that pretty quick there. Oh, let's use a little fish sauce too since we got it. A couple shakes of fish sauce. A little Worcestershire sauce. a little oil. Maybe a tablespoon of veg oil. Light garlic in there. Then I'm going to place them all very carefully in the same direction, even though it's sort of obvious which way the grain is going. This way I can hopefully keep better track of it, so that the grain is going this way in the bag. Actually, let's make sure and give this a flip first before, so we get some marinade in between the slices. Water displacement method to seal up our steaks. I'm just going to leave all the fat on there. There was some excess fat on those. I'm just going to not worry about it. Timer's almost up for our potatoes, though I said we're going to give them at least 30 minutes soaking. So, water displacement method, we're going to seal the bag the majority of the way. Leave the last little bit open here. Do a little maneuver and try and get all that air out to the So there we go, nicely sealed, marinating meat. Let that hang out here on the counter. Back to tater chips. Actually, let's give this board a quick rinse so we get rid of the raw meat factor. Don't need any cross-contamination here. first step here is going to be taking these individually and laying them down on their towel here. Nice and loose and flexible now. They don't feel like they're going to snap when you can bend them all up you want now. I'm not going to worry about them. When I cut them, fold them in half, they were going to snap. Have a good one, Huber. Thanks for stopping by. Don't let that 5G get to you. I appreciate your confidence in my abilities. Come on, a couple more on this one. Fresh towel, fresh layer of taters. I haven't tried my dehydrator. I don't know if I've ever run my dehydrator while I'm streaming. I don't know how loud this is going to be. It's not normally that loud, but it's a matter of how well it picks up on mic. It's just about perfect for height and all that, and might be noisier than it seems. Guess we'll find out tonight. Trying to keep drips to a minimum here over the towel. So it means I'm doing these a little bit slower than I could be, but I have less towels to wash them. We're going to use 3 towels anyways. 3 towels anyways. 3 flour sacks. These are flour sack towels if you aren't familiar. Oops, it's 2. Sorry, this is taking a moment here, but sometimes things take a moment. You want good potato chips? This is what you gotta deal with. The pinging that you may hear every once in a while there is it's raining outside, so it's raining and hitting my exhaust fan from my stove. Last couple minutes, get the last units on the field. I'm going to quick roll these up just to get a little bit more water out of them, if possible. We'll grab some trays. We'll start stacking onto trays now. So these are the dehydrator trays. They're individual, just mesh trays with. You can put a finer mesh on this if you want to do like a fruit roll up or something along that line. Although most of the air is going to be going over the top of them in this direction rather than up and down. The advantage to the dehydrator that I have, which is an Excalibur, is they were sort of the first to market the sideways airflow dehydrators that are considerably more effective than what most people have at home, which are the top down or bottom up ones. They force air up through things. So I predict we're going to use about 5 trays here tonight. Hi there. Oops. I didn't put that in very well. Those watching, seeing all I'm doing here for each individual potato chip may be beginning to understand why you don't see potato chips in restaurants more often. Of course, they'll have more. They'll probably use a salad spinner and other things to speed this process up a little bit. For anyone new into chat, seeing a few new names here and hanging out. Welcome, I'm Jason. Been streaming here on Twitch about a year now. And been streaming about 2 years. Stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 4:30 Pacific. Just sort of cooking dinner for myself, having some fun, hanging out, chatting. Wednesdays I do ingredient challenges. I hold weekly votes in Discord for suggestions on what to cook with. And so we get some interesting menus here on Wednesdays with me trying to use things like corn dogs, which looking like it might win this week's challenge versus what is corn dogs up against? Oh, LaCroix flavored water. I've done some other interesting things like crickets and popcorn. And then Fridays and Sundays, just sort of have dinner and have fun. Do a lot of national holidays, but food holidays. But that isn't set in stone. I just sort of do what's interesting and use that sort of as a guideline for ideas half of the time. Could have easily done Pie Day today. And I heard our battle's ready, so let's do a 90-second pre-roll. While I finish up this last tray and a half. Thank you for that sub. Appreciate that. Who do we got? Edgy Hercules. Thank you. Appreciate that. How we doing this evening? I saw you playing games with me a little bit. Drop this one in there. We got one more to go. Hi there. Enjoy the emotes. Thank you. Okay, let's run our battle. Sound issues. I'm not hearing the game in it either. Edgy Hercules with those kills. Pun not found with the assists. Thank you. Edgy Hercules getting those scrolls. Ooh, I get some scrolls myself. I think this next one is the real reason we're doing the top row here. Hopefully we get a little more gold, or one of you get a nice loyalty skin. And I'm going to start this one how I normally start this one. Just put my guy in the corner there. We'll figure out the rest as it goes. Because we sort of need to get all four of these notes in the corners, these army cards or whatever they're called. So we sort of need a little bit of a spread out action here, but we also need enough of a defense that we can fight off those. Ah, we gonna need another tray? I think I'm gonna need another tray. Another tray. 6 trays. Chips. Oop, used that one already. Okay. So we'll turn the dehydrator on and we'll see how noisy this is. You guys don't like the noise, please let me know. Please let me know. I don't know if I can even hear that. Certainly making noise in here, though. Give this a little bit more of a stir up. Anyone new in here, this is a actual Parmesan bechamel. Getting all that flavor out of there. I'm using up a last of a rind of Parmesan, and I grated all that I could in there. And then we got the skin in there with the last little bit of it, giving us all the flavor we can get out of that. This is going to go for our asparagus, over our asparagus rather. The little bit of rind or skin actually stuck to the bottom there. I didn't realize that. It was sticking a little bit too much, but worked all that good flavor back into things, so I think we're okay there. Ooh, that's warm. A bit warmer than I want to touch it with my hands. That definitely needs salt, though. That doesn't taste like hardly anything right now. Needs salt. And since we got cheese, needs MSG too. And why not? Let's throw some pepper in there too. I could do white pepper and have it all be nice and clean, pristine white, but meh. And since this is going to sit a little bit while, I'm going to add a little bit more liquid in here. I'm going to add a little more water. Just to keep it from getting too thick over the next hour or so here. Because we're going to have to dehydrate these chips. They're going to have to dehydrate for at least 20 minutes here. Actually, let's change that to 30 minutes just to be safe. And then from there, we're going to fry them. I don't know why it does that. It only does it on Chrome, though. Weird. I complain about something and don't explain what I'm complaining about. For some reason, my stream manager on Chrome always loads with... They have the, like, up-to-date stuff, like how long of a pre-roll I've got going, which is a major thing that I look at. And the followers, how long you've been doing. I don't pay attention to really any of the rest of that. I got most of it off, actually. But it cuts it off. It, like, loads the page too high in Chrome. Works fine if I use Edge or Firefox, but... or Mozilla, or... I don't even know what the heck they call that these days. Netscape. It's still sort of Netscape to me, I don't know. Get rid of some of these plates. Hey, Zimbobius, welcome in. How goes your Sunday? Hopefully cheerful and fun. Hopefully daylight savings is not giving you headaches and making you wonder where the day went like it did for me. I do still feel like I just woke up. I mean, I'm not like groggy or anything, especially because I've had some caffeine, but I still feel like, you know, where'd the day go today? Of course, I've been staying up later lately, too, because gotten myself into streams that are going later into the night rather than waking up early in the morning and getting shiz done. Been a rough weekend. Corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, onions, and rye. Oh yeah, you're enjoying that St. Patty's weekend, aren't you? I did corned beef last year. I didn't really like the way it turned out, and I didn't even really notice that it was St. Patrick's Day when I was planning my dates this time around, so I just completely like skipped over it. I skipped over 3.14 too, to be completely honest, but we're doing potato chips. It's National Potato Chip Day, at least here in the States. With there's nothing wrong with yellow mustard. I got some yellow mustard going in my... I got yellow mustard just hanging out over here, I think, too. Yeah. Just hanging out. I use yellow mustard. I sort of think of yellow mustard as the wet version of powdered mustard, though. I don't really think of it as... If I want, like, mustard, I still typically go for the Grey Poupon or something with a little bit more punch to it. But if I'm having a hot dog, yellow mustard. If I'm doing dressing or something like that, I'm going to use that as the bulk of the mustard and maybe add a little bit of the fancy stuff. That's cool. It's been a long time since I've been to... I don't have Costco's near me, but it's been a long time since I've been to a... Oh, yeah, I have Costco. I used to go to Sam's Club, and then I went to Costco, because there's Costco's here in Sonoma, but there aren't Sam's Clubs in Sonoma County. And I just got to the point with Costco where I just felt like I was cattle in the place. Like, moving line. It was always so packed. It was always an aggravation. There was always people bumping into you, getting in your way. And I just gave up on it. I was like, I don't need this in my life. But they do have some great deals. And actually, they're... Unlike the 365 brand, which I have not been happy with most products that I've gotten from them, the Kirkland brand actually has some really nice products. They do some nice job on their store brand stuff. Like, Their store brand wines, I gotta go and get their store brand wines, even though I haven't been there, because their store brand wines are supposed to be great. And I'm doing all the cheap wines here on stream. It's been a while since I've had any wines, though. Just been sort of taking it easy on alcohol here the last month or so. Not going completely alcohol free. I mean, I had a glass of bourbon the other night, but I haven't been spending the cash on alcohol lately. So we got our skirt steak here marinating. I think we're getting to the point where we can put the grill on the... do I want to have that... Yeah, I think I want to have that on and warming up. So we'll move my cast iron pans over here on the counter. And I'm going to grab this big boy so that we can do some grilling. I'm not going to turn it on just yet, but we're going to have that in place. And we're going to put sauce on the back burner. Real nice and low, just keeping things warm back here. That sauce is ready to go. It's just tasty sauce. Still needs salt. I oversalt everything, sorry. And then our oil for our potato chips. How much longer? We've got another 20 minutes here on our potatoes. Actually, let's see how quickly they're drying out, because we don't want to cook them in the dehydrator at the same time. Hey there. Oh, they're still pretty moist. Yeah, they're still pretty moist. So those are going to need at least the 20 minutes I was going to do before. Let's clean up some asparagus in the meantime. If any of you were here on Friday, you know that I pulled out the larger ones to save them for tonight. Save the smaller ones for tonight, so we have a little bit evener set of asparagus here, but I still think we can chop some of the bottoms off of this here. Make them about plate sized. And we can do a marinade with these too, why not? Soy sauce. And Worcestershire. Nice, then. So you've already had your... Or were you eating it as you were telling me what you had? Let's add a little vinegar into this party, too. Oil and vinegar. I didn't add any vinegar in with the steaks because it's just going to help break them down in a way that we don't really need. Soy sauce is breaking it down as it is. Yeah, it's whole daylight saving things is driving me a bit nuts today too. Anyone stay up until 2 in the morning and then jump so you could say you were a time traveler? I'm not going to water displace this way. I'm going to squeeze out as much of the air as I can. Minutes till our next battle. I think we can start heating up our oil back here, though. And we're going to wait until we're done frying with those. We're going to need a place to put these chips after we're done taking them off. I think we're going to do a sheet pan with some paper towel on it. Not sure what you're... Not even 100% sure about the differences that there is. Welcome in, Moss. Sorry, I didn't notice you there. The red names all in a row. I just threw them all together. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is the definition of carne asada. I just think steak when I think carne asada. Marinated and grilled. I guess this qualifies in that case. Oh, and I guess there's lime typically offered to the guest, so it's not just marinated and grilled, it's marinated and grilled and done so with seasonings that lime also works with, excuse me. I do happen to have lime. We could go full-fledged, this is carne asada, but I'm just making steak. We're using skirt steak, which I don't know if I explained to everyone, but earlier you got all the grain in the steak going this way. It's all going in this direction, the way the fat is going in the same direction. And so we're going to cut it in this direction once we grill it. Should be enough here for 3 good dinners there. There's 3 nice steaks in there. We got some steak. Some steak. Marinade was soy sauce, a hint of fish sauce, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of garlic powder. I think that was it. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for that. Welcome in, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Jason. I stream here on Twitch 3 nights a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. tonight we're doing some steak and asparagus, and also got chips in the dehydrator right now. We're drying out the potato chips before we fry them. I've previously soaked them in salted water for a good 30 minutes. Now we're dehydrating them, and then we're going to fry them back there on the stove. We got the oil just starting to warm up back here. And everything else marinating, sort of hanging out right now. Welcome in, everyone. What were we doing tonight, Ryan? How? We're doing some cooking of our own. We doing some Fortnite tonight? What were we doing? Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for joining me again, Cooking Girl. But otherwise, it's sort of a chill evening here. Had a sort of rough day today. It's sort of like the day just like disappeared on me today. I slept in, didn't really get going until I slept in what normally would be like 10:30, but it was 11:30 today. And I've been working on updating my personal website, chefjt.com. It still needs work, but it's upgraded from where it was before. And after doing that for a couple hours, it's like, oh, it's time to stream. Where'd the day go? It's 3 o'clock already. In addition, I didn't mention, we also got back here a Parmesan bechamel that is thickening up a little bit here, but we'll give that a thin out with a good whisking a little bit later. And we got the rind from our Parmesan just going all soft in there, but grated all that in there. Otherwise, this is a very basic bechamel, just a brew and whole milk bechamel. Just keep scraping that cheese off of that cheese side. But that's yumminess that we're going to put over the asparagus. I do intend on doing a return. I don't think that I did a very good job the last time I did Hollandaise on stream. It came out tasting great and looking great in person, but the photos looked like it was broken. And I did it in the immersion circulator. I was thinking of doing that again in the immersion circulator, but didn't have eggs. So, last minute change up. Cauliflower soup with 18 ingredients. It just sounded good together. Awesome. It's been a while since I've done any soups here, and I actually made it through soup season here, only making a couple of soups. Ahi steaks, nice. I did ahi 2 months ago? But I don't do tuna a ton. I forget why I picked that up. It was probably because it was on sale. Actually doing a bit of seafood here. I'm not a huge seafood guy. We did shrimp fried rice. Got a little bit of that left over here. Did this on Friday. Shrimp fried rice with asparagus and corn. And I did baked scallops with leeks. I still got to finish those off too. Favorite meat in the world is ahi. I do like tuna. I've just never been... The ahi tunas that I've gotten have just never really hugely impressed me. They've been a little too... They got a little bit too much meatiness to me. They're a little bit too thick for me. I want them to have a little bit more give, and certainly want the... I don't know what the proper term for it, but the like tendons or the actual like fibers to the meat that go through it. They're just a bit too much for me. But it is a very meaty fish. It's a very steak-like fish. You're actually it's in that same sort of category as that and like swordfish, and you got something you can actually grill, which was. Oh, that's what I used it for. I did it for Lunar New Year. I did bok choy and fish because they were lucky things to cook for the Lunar New Year. But I'm doing a couple of fish things lately. I did the baked scallops on Friday with the shrimp fried rice. And I was tempted to do, actually almost did fried fish to go along with the chips tonight. But I realized that I have planned here, I believe it's on the 26th or the 29th of this month, I'm going to be doing just straight up standard good old fish and chips. So that's coming up here soon on the stream. Actually, I already got the frozen cod in the freezer frozen because it was on sale. One of the advantages of planning ahead, I can start buying things ahead when they're on sale. I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to cut my costs down on doing things by planning ahead. I'm doing a lot more of buying things in bulk when they're in sale and buying things in bulk. Which is sort of why I cook this way. It saves money versus... I mean, you can go out like majority of the time, and then that couple of times you cook at home, because you go out all the time, is going to cost you more. And so, with cooking at home all the time, I'm trying to minimize my expenses so that the few times I go out, that can be a splurge rather than now that I'm probably going to start going out to restaurants after I get some of those antibodies. Whenever that is. How we doing on our oil temp back here? Oh, we're still under 200 here. I don't know how well you can... Yeah, it's like 180-ish. Got another 7 minutes so for timetable for the vaccine in your area. I have no clue. Well, the original timetable was like fall for general population, which I'm food and drink, but I'm not actually working with a business that I can claim that I'm doing food and drink or something along that line. Most of the people that are actual food and drink people have gotten their vaccine around here or are working on it. General population, they were saying fall. Now that the president has come out and said that everyone's got to have it going by May 1st, who knows? I'd love to have it right now if I could, but I've got some things that I'm probably going to end up missing because I don't think I'm going to get one in time. Unfortunately, some family wedding coming up here at the end of April. Which, if I do get a vaccine, I'm probably going to take a vacation. But otherwise, I'm pretty steady with my streaming. I'm here pretty much rock solid. I don't think I've missed more than one day here in the last year and a half. That is obviously used oil, although we do have some fresh lard in there. I was combining things, trying to make sure that we got enough oil to do these chips in there. We've gotten a good 20 minutes on those chips. Let's see how dry we're getting now. Time for my close-up. They're getting there. They're not quite dry, though. Some of the small ones are looking dry, but the majority of them still need a little bit more time. Let's see about that half tray down here. That half tray is starting to look pretty good, though. Maybe we'll pull this half tray out. Leave the rest in there for the last 5-6 minutes. We'll do our battle. I run a 90-second pre-roll ad before our battle, so pre-roll ad time. Cheers, everyone. Definitely need a little bit more liquid in that sauce back there. Just to thin that out while we're cooking everything else. We want to keep it relatively thick so it's nice and thick when we use it for our sauce on our asparagus, but nice. I think we'll get this one. Edgy Hercules with all the bananas. Banana Army. Ooh, Edgy Hercules with the kills and pun not found with the assists again. Who gets that 200 gold? That's one heck of a reward. Congrats, sir, Edgy. Should be good for a couple of power-ups on your scrolls. I'm going to put my tank right there in the center and go after these. Rolling die, I generally sort of ignore those. Oh, we got these in the corners here to worry about too. So maybe we can throw some rogues in the corners here. Do a little of this action. And we'll go back to our cutting board. I think most of the people that play on my stream here, Edgy, are regular Stream Raiders people, so I don't think you need to worry too much about that. I'm gonna skip these browner ones and keep mostly the drier ones and the ones that don't have that brown coloring going with them. I think they're because they're bruised or edge of the potato sort of a thing. I'm just going to drop them in a bowl together. Getting an up close view there. Timer telling me our potatoes are probably ready. Yeah, so these are probably slightly overcooked as far as baking, but we know they're dry. That one's a little brown. That one's a little brown. Some of them aren't 100% dry, but I don't think they're going to be I mean, that one's still pretty wet, but I don't think that's going to be sticking to anything in the bowl at the same time. That's probably good for, this tray is probably going to be good for our first batch of frying. Get rid of a couple of these brown ones. Gonna have to obviously do a couple of batches of chips in order to make sure we get not too many in the pan at once. Let's see what... Oh, we probably don't have oil that's quite hot enough yet. Yeah, we're still a little bit low on temp. We'll bring that up a little bit higher in temperature and grab a couple more pans while we're waiting. There. Yeah, I think one of these potatoes was just sort of a bum potato here. We got... And it's sort of sporadic where they're at. But then again, they were lumped together once already. This started out as 3 potatoes, 3 Idaho russets, or 3 Burbank russets. I was explaining how much Burbanks had an influence on the food you eat without you probably knowing it. I don't, Moss. I could come up with something. I got some sour cream around. I could throw something together. I wasn't really planning. I was just planning on going straight salt and pepper potato chips. What do you think? Should I make up something special just for doing with these? Grab some more water here while we're waiting on that oil to warm up. Not for any dip, but the vast majority of your like those little packets of ranch dip for chips and stuff like that, it's typically just mixing ranch powdered seasoning with sour cream. And I was thinking I could throw a little buttermilk powder in there, do almost like I did with the ranch dressing the other night. Do a little buttermilk powder so we get a little bit, even more of that tang in there along with our sour cream. And then a little onion powder. I got some green onion. You could do basically a sour cream ranch dip. Wouldn't have the mayo or the egg that you would normally have, or the dill. But... we're still 260, 270. A hand crank one. I got a little hand use one with a frozen insert that isn't frozen right now, but so it's a little bit like the people that along the same lines as the people that use salted ice. Same sort of setup, but with a pre-frozen container. Well, it's not cheap, but then again, you got to consider what quality milk are they using in your ice cream too. I'm buying organic. I did the high fat method of ice cream, which is not your traditional ice cream. What I did was a can of condensed milk and 2 cups of heavy cream whipped into whipped cream. So you start with 2 cups of heavy cream and you whip that. And then you add the condensed milk in there, and then I added a can of pureed green beans into that mixture. And that's what I then put through my machine with a little bit of buttermilk powder in there as well. I buy buttermilk powder rather than... I occasionally buy buttermilk around home, but generally I use buttermilk powder, which is a little like milk powder. It's got that tang, it's got the flavor, but you don't have to keep buttermilk around, and because my problem with buttermilk is I don't go through it all the way unless I'm doing like buttermilk chicken or something like that, where I'm going to use like a whole thing of buttermilk. Getting closer to 300 there. Want to be a little bit over 300 though too, so I'm going to actually turn that up a little bit more even still. Yeah, you can buy it at the store, or you certainly can find it online if you can't get it at the store. I think the stuff I have is from Bob's Red Mill, which is a pretty common brand. Yeah. You can find Bob's Red Mill all over the place, at least here in the States. They do all sorts of dry goods. They do all sorts of different flours and stuff like that. So it's not like they're doing all sorts of stuff, not just buttermilk powder. Want to be careful working with your oil. This is a pretty big pan, so I'm being a little carefree with it. But you do not want oil splashing on you. You want to keep that oil off of you. But if you can't find it in the store, you can most certainly find it on like Amazon or Walmart or whatever online store you buy from. Let's see how we're frying up here. That's only like 300 degrees. We do have to fry these until they essentially stop bubbling. I figure one chip is not going to kill the heat on the entire pan. Yeah, I want those to cook a little bit faster than that. Welcome in, Stokely. I don't know that I have favorite dishes. I like changing stuff up all the time. I like trying new things, figuring out how things work. I'm much more interested in the processes and the way things cook than I am necessarily in when I'm cooking. I like how things work. Oh, that was a TV show I used to be addicted to as a kid. I like stealing, I can't even remember her name now. The epitome of teaching food when she was still around. There's a movie about her. Anyways, her favorite, Julia Child, thank you. Yes, Julia Child. Her saying was, "Whatever I'm cooking right now." I'll also often say, "Whatever someone else cooked for me," because while I love cooking, I love hanging out in the kitchen. Some of the best meals I've ever had were ones that I didn't cook myself, and because some of your best meals have a lot more to do with who's enjoying them with you and where you're enjoying them as much as what you're enjoying. I also have a thing where I tend to, I think, perhaps over criticize what I'm cooking. I'm certainly a bit of a pessimist in life, and so I think I tend to look at things and look for the flaws in what I'm cooking versus when someone else is cooking for me, I don't really care. Cheers. Just drinking water tonight. Be a good night for something dark and red to go with this, but yep. This needed more salt. This wasn't quite there. That sort of a thing. You don't enjoy it as much, even though it could have been a perfectly great meal. Getting impatient. I want to fry. I want to move forward here. Thank you for that follow, Stokely. For yourself or anyone else new in here, welcome. I'm Jason. I cook 3 nights a week here on Twitch, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Fridays and Sundays, I have things well planned ahead of time. If you look down in the About Me section, I have a link to a Google Calendar with all my upcoming dates that I'm planning on cooking, what I'm planning on doing. There's also a timer there until my next show. Wednesdays, I hold ingredient challenges. I have a weekly vote in my Discord. If you guys... Why did I do that? Why am I looking at this? Here we go. Our weekly vote for ingredient is between LaCroix LaCroix and corn dogs. So it's looking like corn dogs going to win this, but the vote's going to go until sometime tomorrow. And if you follow along, we've done many other ones on Wednesdays. Last week was green beans. We've done black garlic, seasonings of various types, spinach, charcoal, crickets. But so Wednesday, whichever wins here the vote between LaCroix and corn dogs, I'll have to use that as an ingredient for both dinner and dessert. And that's my Wednesdays here on stream. And if you want to make some suggestions, we got a separate channel here for suggestions. Anyone is welcome to join in. We got our general chat here where I let people know what I'm doing for the day. And a little Formula 1 chat too, because I'm a little bit of a Formula 1 nut. But anyways, that's what's going on in the Discord. We also have all the lovely community join-ins. But I think we're probably there for our oil. Let's see how our oil is doing here. Now let's try this. We're between 340 and 320 and 340. dropping them individually so that they don't stick to each other. Like those two just did, and that one just did. Hot oil is hot, you shouldn't touch with your hands. I think that might be enough for this batch. Let's just do some of these straight in there. Take our finished chips and throw them in a pile. In a pot or in a bowl here. Give them a hit of MSG, hit of fine salt, and pepper. Ooh, nice and light and thin. Super thin. They're looking a little dark, but they're tasty. What is asparagus marinade again? Got a little soy sauce, a little Worcestershire, and I think that's just basically it. Pretty simple. these in with our new ones. Again, fine salt, MSG. We want to go until we get all that moisture out of the chips. That's what's going to be making us soggy chips. So we don't want soggy chips. There. Well, they're still warm, but we got the majority of the oil dropped off of them. Add them back in here. Give them a season too. They look a bit dark from your standard chips, but they're crispy. Thank you for that follow. Thank you, Billy. Welcome in. Thank you for that follow, Red Nut. Hopefully we can put the last of these on one last boil here. We got 1.5 more trays to go. Might be stretching. It might have to do 2 more boils, or 2 more fries, or 2 more batches. Welcome in, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful Sunday. Mine's getting a lot better here now that I got some nice crispy potato chips. We're losing too much temperature. We're probably getting too low here. Probably getting... Oh, we're still 300. That's cool. We got potato chips, which these are going to hang out. We got asparagus, and we've got flank steak, or skirt steak. And so, going to grill off the asparagus and the skirt steak. And then back here on the back of the stove, behind our oil here, it's got a bit of a skin going, but we got a Parmesan bechamel going on back here. It's a chunk of the parm in there. And that's just been hanging out and warming up. That's going to be for over our asparagus. I was thinking of doing a hollandaise tonight. I've been unhappy with the last couple of hollandaises I've done on stream. But then I realized that I don't have eggs. So, certainly got the butter, but don't have the eggs to do the hollandaise. And we also do stream raiders. So, unfortunately, we're going to run a 90-second ad here to help kill the pre-rolls. And if Stokely, you're still with me, I have not been to Philadelphia. I know some friends that live in Philadelphia and have worked in Philadelphia, but no, I have not been or cooked in Philadelphia. Just look at the color and the patterning on that. This is gorgeousness. Yum, 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 yum. I'm gonna eat all these tonight, probably. But I'm going simple on the seasoning. Just some salt, some pepper, some MSG. You can get all sorts of funky with your flavors. You can drizzle a little oil over them if you like. If you got some like flavorful oil kicking around the house. Where are we at temperature-wise? We warm enough for another batch here? Oh, I think we're okay. But while I haven't cooked in Philadelphia, I have cooked in New York, I've cooked in throughout the Midwest, I've cooked in Arizona, in Phoenix, in LA, and here in Northern California. I haven't lived in San Francisco, so nothing in San Francisco or Silicon Valley, but up here in Sonoma I have. Ran a business here in Sonoma, working out of farmers markets the last 5 years before I started streaming. And so I had to call the farmers market business quits because of the expense of operating it, not necessarily. It was a little 1 to 3 man show, and didn't quite fly that way. I could have made it larger, but while we're frying this batch of potato chips, let's do our Stream Raiders battle. Victory. That was a quick one. Punt not found getting those kills. Guess I'm helping out with the assists. Let's see how we do with our rewards. Red Nut and Billy getting those rewards. Welcome in. Oh, hey, I got some gold too. We'll quick start our next battle here so that I can get back to those chips that are getting quiet on me. And we'll run a battle in 30 minutes. That one wasn't very crunch-alicious, but there was good crunch there, nonetheless. One more batch of taters to go in there. Last batch. Actually going to turn the grill on now and get that warming up. Last one. These two are ugly. We're not going to use those. Sidley. Good guess, Billy. They are certainly not all English words in the scramble. There's a lot of French, there's a lot of German, there's a lot of Spanish, probably some Italian. But they are mostly food related. And for anyone else new in here, sprinkles are my in-chat currency for giveaways as well as for other things. Like I'm going to be wood burning Hall of Fame names into my cutting board back there, and by accumulating sprinkles you can get on the Hall of Fame cutting board, or you can join in future giveaways. I did a giveaway at 500 followers. I'll do another one at 1,000 followers. And I do have some other things in the works. trying to grab the ones that are done and leaving the few that are still bubbling like that guy hanging out a bit longer. It's not an exact science, but do you want to keep them in the oil until they stop boiling, because they're still boiling off water if they're boiling, which is going to leave us a soggy chip otherwise. Okay, oil off. And actually, let's just take the oil completely out of the picture here tonight. I can give myself another close-up here and get these racks out of the way. Throw them back in the dehydrator. We're going to put the oil out of the way here so that I'm not worried about touching it, and I'm not worried about burning my hands. That's actually not even that hot, but I do not want to drop this in any way, sort, or form. So that's hidden up there now. Toss the last of our chips together. Crunch. So there's our National Potato Chip Day. Potato chips. Nice and crispy and crunchy. Let's rehydrate our sauce here a little bit. What type do I use? What type of oil do I use? That is a combination. This is used cooking oil. It's a combination of what do I got? Veggie oil over here, cheap veggie oil, probably canola, and lard, because last July, I butchered almost a whole pig here on stream. Everything but the head and the offal. I bought 2 halves of a pig and turned a lot of that into lard, and so that's a lot of that lard from that pig in there too. This here is just a basic bechamel for the most part. It's a roux thickened whole milk with some water to thin it out and a bunch of Parmesan. That's the end of a piece of Parmesan there. I ground down that piece of Parmesan down till it was almost that thin as it is, and then threw the whole rind in there on top of that. And so it's only a little thick because it's been sitting here on the stove for a while. We're starting to get to smoky point on our grill over here. We've got 3 nice hunks of skirt steak that I'm going to grill off to begin with. I'll do the asparagus afterward. How we doing on our Stream Raiders battle? How long we got here? 19 minutes, okay. We're going to turn this down all the way down, as low as that flame goes. Just allow that to continue to set. Oh, there's a little bit of oil in both of these too, so I'm not going to bother with oiling the pan at all. I'm just going to go straight from the bag, give them a hit with salt, and then on the grill. There's soy sauce in here too, so I probably shouldn't even bother with the salt. I've only been marinating this about an hour or so. I mean, I put it together towards the beginning of the stream, so it's not like it's been sitting overnight. You don't want to... You can get away with it, and restaurants I've worked with, they do it pretty often even still, but you don't really want to leave something, especially like beef, with soy on it overnight, especially like fish or chicken too, but because that soy sauce will actually help break down the proteins. It's good for a marinade if you're doing a short marinade, but if you're doing a long marinade, you sort of want to shy away from using soy sauce. And so this is a relatively short marinade here. Potato chips. Anyone new in here, I typically do wine here on stream too. I'm doing a non-alcoholic night tonight, and I've been sort of light on alcohol this past month, but I typically do, the $10 or cheaper wines out of your supermarkets locally. I live here in Sonoma County, so I get local hookups on occasionally on wines and stuff like that too. But so there's a fair amount of wine on our stream, although I'm not a wine nut. Like I wouldn't classify myself as hugely knowledgeable on wine. I've taken some courses and I've certainly got some education in it, but I'm not like sommelier or anything like that. I'm certainly not going to be able to tell you the differences in years in your favorite Bordeaux's or anything like that. You got some decent smoke starting to come off of that grill. Want to go a little bit hotter, I think. You're getting there, though. Should probably turn on a couple of fans here. I've already got my bedroom door so the smoke alarm doesn't go off. I got my bedroom door closed already. Alright, let's try and grill some steak here. I think I'm just going to do 2 at a time. I got that third one, but it's not going to... I got a burner at the top and a burner at the bottom. The one in the center is just going to cool the pan down if I do that right now. I'm going to turn the fan on high. Sorry for your ears. I wish I could turn the fan, get rid of the fan noise and microphones, but that one looks scrambled even when it's unscrambled. I'm not sure if that's spelled 100% right, but that might be, I assume that's nixtamalization, which is the process of using lye to break down the outer shell of corn so that you can create masa for tortilla chips and tortilla shells. And put the asparagus over here by the grill. It's a getting smoky in here. It's okay. It's gonna be tasty too. Look at those grill marks. Don't really got to give this a ton of heat to cook this through, and we don't really want to cook it completely through. We just want to make sure we have good sear on the outside, really, in my opinion. Allow that to rest on the cutting board. add our last steak here. Our last one we'll put in the center though. Keep these in the photo too. They're just yummy. I keep stealing them. They're supposed to be for dinner. Might as well add the asparagus on there too. We can do that. We're a decently long stream tonight. We're not wrapping things up immediately quick. I'm going to do half and half and do half of the asparagus up top and half down below. These are all thinner asparagus, so they aren't going to take too long to color up. So I was saying before, I like thin asparagus. I like my asparagus like pencil thick. I'm going to turn on a couple other fans here since it is smoky in here. It's even smoky back in my bedroom, in my living room. Not getting a ton of color on our asparagus as far as grill marks, but we're pretty close there in color at least. They're starting to turn that nice light green color. My whole house is smoky. Turn the oven off on our grill there, or the range off on our grill. Allow those asparagus to just chill out a little bit here. We're gonna run our. Let's see how we're doing on our stream meters. How much longer we got? Another 3 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna need to thin out our sauce a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that piece of rind out. Not for someone without asbestos fingers. I'm gonna add a little water in there. And we're gonna switch from a spoon back to a whisk to make sure this is all well combined and smooth again. It's still a little thick, so I'm going to add a little more water in there. Okay, pre-roll time, 90-second ad. Last minute, get your players on the battlefield for Stream Raiders for the last battle of the evening. I'm going to sit here and have a potato chip while I wait. Who made those potato chips? They're salty. Battle! We shall go to battle. Oh, we got this. It was a rough battle, though. We lost quite a few people here. Quite a few units were lost. Congrats on those kills, Chris Fizz. Thank you for those assists, Red Nut. Let's see who gets that 50 gold. Congrats, Red Nut and Edgy Hercules getting the scroll. We're going to call that an evening for this evening as far as Stream Raiders is concerned, but we still have some deliciousness to plate up here. Let's start with this hopefully medium steak, skirt steak. We're going to cut across the grain. Grain's going this way, so we're going this way. Oh, that's maybe rare. I don't care. It's medium. But to give you all a good idea of what we got there as far as color, deliciousness, not too dark. It's like light pink all throughout. Put down a plate here. Got my purple plates as always here. And turn the fan down so that we don't have to listen to that. And I'm going to sauce the plate first. With our Parmigiano Reggiano, the real stuff, the Italian stuff. Asparagus. And our steak. Minus all the juice that we'll leave there on the cutting board. A few extra slices that didn't quite make it to the plate. We'll get a quick photo here of the deliciousness. Throw my knife in there for name recognition. Gotta get some photos of those delicious potato chips going along with this too. Wishing I had some bread to soak up all that juice. That's certainly a possibility. That's just going to make our chips soggy. Not bad though. Gotta pile them high for the photo love. Oh, come on. Awesome. All right. So, want to thank you guys all for joining me. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I've had great fun making potato chips at home for the first time. Need to work on my oil temp there, but otherwise these are quite delicious. They are crispy, they're salty, they're potatoey, they're deliciousness, they're super thin and crisp. Happy with the steak turnout, although I've done steak more than once on the stream before. And asparagus turned out great as well. Let's see who's on to give a raid to tonight. Alright. Well, you enjoyed potato chips with me. Let's go hang out and have some more potato chips here for y'all to watch. No, how does she spell her name? Arg. Oh, is she not streaming? Is this an old page? I did not refresh it properly. I guess she's not streaming. In that case, I'm going to raid someone that I haven't raided before. She has just gotten started with her stream. She's doing breakfast for dinner. It sounds like a great way to make everyone still that much hungrier tonight. I'm a fellow food and drink streamer who's been around a minute. We've had a huge boom in food and drink streamers, but I tend to find a lot of food and drink streamers start out with a lot of big bang, and they tire out quick because you got to make it like a part of your life in order to be streaming regularly and doing food. So it's rough. Let's go say hello to Pantry Elf tonight. Give her a raid. I will be back here on Wednesday with our ingredient challenge. Either most likely going to be corn dogs for dinner and dessert, but it might be LaCroix, depending on who votes on that. If anyone's joined in the Discord, I'll give you permissions here after the stream. And we also got Friday and Sunday next week coming up too. Another couple great dinners for those two. If you want to find out what all I'm doing, get alerts through your Google Calendar. There's a link down in the About Me section. Thank you guys all for joining. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to go and enjoy all of this deliciousness, this delicious meat. And I hope you have a great night. Bye-bye now.